What's up guys? What's going on? BorisT here and welcome back to this new video. You know, while I was editing the previous one, my brain started to fly in its own world as usual, and at some point it came up with, hey, why you don't ask ChatGPT which one are the most hated metal genres out there? So here we are today with a new video thanks to this big brain here. So after I provide ChatGPT with my questions, his answer was, metal is full of subgenres, and every one of them has its haters. Some are disliked by purists, other by casual listeners. I think that the casual listeners probably dislike 99% of metal. Here's a list of the most hated metal subgenres and why people tend to trash them. To my not surprise, the first position is actually what I expected, which is nu metal, hated by metal purists. Now let's read all the 3 points that ChatGPT says and let's break them down. Sees as too commercial and simplistic. Rap elements and baggy pants didn't help its reputation. Bands like Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park got mainstream success, which made underground fans turn against it. First point, hated by metal purists. Well, that's true, but that's like a destiny that every new metal genre that came out after 2000 has experienced, especially if it's a more commercial one compared to the OG, you know? Even if the commercial aspect of the music, and it never bothers me. I mean, why you have to be angry if a band that you like, that are still continue to play the music you like, becomes successful? I mean, it's good for the band, much more money for them to invest in better production, much more money for touring. I've always seen that as a beautiful thing, and I never understand why people get mad. About the simplistic part, I can agree on that. I was a nu metaler when I was young. Don't bother me. I was 12, 13. That was the only metal music available. I didn't even know the existence of other genre. So, shh. But yeah, the drums in the nu metal were the one that bothers me the most. All this, they were so boring. Where I discovered death black thrash metal was so good that I look at nu metal and say,
hasta la vista, baby.
About baggy pants, I can't say anything because I had baggy pants, and not only that, I also had spiky hair. I literally looked like Rob Flynn in his nu metal era. So, but yeah, probably was the most hated and divisive genre because started to mix metal with stuff that weren't part of metal, so brought much more fans, much more normies, and you know, I can understand why metal purists didn't really like it. In the second position, we have another genre that I was expecting. I was debating if this will have been the first one or the second one, and it's deathcore. Hated by traditional death metal fans. Breakdowns over riff unacceptable to old school metalheads. Accused of being too seen and attracting non-metal fans, bands like Suicide Silence and Whitechapel get a lot of hate. This right here, guys, was my personal most hated genre of all time. It came out when I was totally devoted to metal in an obsessive way, too obsessive, and back then was total war, and I'm not joking. There was punk and metalhead going around to hunt and beat the shit out of deathcore fans. It was wild. Breakdowns over riffs, unacceptable to old school metalheads. Well, when the first album of Suicide Silence, The Cleansing, came out, the genre wasn't still called deathcore. If you read the old reviews, they were calling them death grind. And I remember this review where the album took 5 out of 10, where they were saying the band has a lot of potential, the band sounds great when they accelerate, but every now and then they have to stop, slow down, have these breakdowns. And I was like, maybe I will like it. So I went in the store, I bought the album, and I had the same feeling of the reviewer. When they were playing fast, I liked it, but when they were slowing down, it was getting too boring for me. When I realized that not just this band but other bands use the same freaking approach, I was already out from the deathcore stuff. Accused of being too seen and attracting non-metal fans. This is so true, and this is why metalheads and punk were going to hunt and beat the shit of deathcore, which I don't approve. Wasn't right at the time. I thought it was super cool because, you know, we were all young and dumb. Come on. This, by the way, was so true because I remember in the city where I lived before, it started to be packed and full of people with Job for a Cowboy t-shirts, Suicide Silence t-shirt, Bring Me the Horizon, and so on. People that you know never listened to metal, and now they're listening to one of the most extreme metal genre out there. Deathcore fans weren't metalheads. I don't know how they call themselves for us they were emo, because they look like this. So yeah, it just became a trend, because if you were one of these guys, you were getting so much girls compared to one of these guys here. The thing that pisses me off the most of the time wasn't the bands that were born as a deathcore bands and this scene kids, or how you want to call them, but it was famous band that completely changed their sound to get into the deathcore trend, you know. So you could see these guys with long hair taking this part of their hair and slapping on the other side, looked absolutely ridiculous, literally selling their butt to get 5 minutes of notoriety. Anyways, that scene totally died, and nowadays we have a different type of deathcore that I actually enjoy quite a lot. Bands like Slaughter to Prevail, Lorna Shore, Shadow of Intent, even if I think that Shadow of Intent now plays just death metal and there's nothing more deathcore. So third point, we have Metalcore, hated by almost everyone at some point. This was a nice one, ChatGPT. Well, let's see the point. Too emo for metalheads. Too heavy for emos. Overproduced, clean courses, breakdown spam. Bands like Bullet for My Valentine and Asking Alexandra made it even more divisive. The thing that I never understood with metalcore is that it's called metalcore because it should be a combination of metal and hardcore slapped together, right? And if you do that in the proper way, you will have bands like Hatebreed, which I love. All these other bands that were categorized in the metalcore scene, for me, always sounds like melodic death metal with a singer that always wanted to sound tough until someone squeezed his balls in the main chorus. So too emo for metalheads, too heavy for emos. I've never seen a metalcore like emo, like I've seen deathcore. I mean, visually sides, they look like metalcore at least. Overproduced, maybe. If it sounds good, I don't think it's a problem. Clean choruses is something that always annoys me so much in metalcore. There's some songs, for example, from As I Lay Dying that I enjoy, but I can't literally stand the one with clean vocals. When I was a teenager, I thought metalcore was cool as fuck, best genre ever, and I think it's like that for a lot of teenagers, you know, because you get the aggressive sides of metal, but also the accessibility. My English is worse than ever today. So yeah, I think it wasn't hated as much as deathcore. We are in the 4th position and we have Glam Metal, hated by thrash and extreme metal fans. Too much hairspray, too little heaviness. Party lyrics instead of aggression. Motley Crue, Poison and Warrant are prime examples of why thrash metal band hated them. Well, this one is hard. First of all, because we should talk with someone that lived the 80s. And he can tell us how it was when these bands came out, you know? Because I personally freaking love glam hair metal so much. I love everything about the music, the aesthetic of it. I don't know, it's the 80s in it, you know, the pure 80s that I just fucking love it. And I know it sounds funny when I laugh at deathcore and then I love this. But as always, it's all a matter of taste. So even if I make fun of something, it's just from a personal perspective. It's not that I'm right and you are wrong. It's just a personal taste perspective. And it's how it should be, without hating each other. We are still friends. Party lyrics and instead of aggression, but also thrash metal bands has party lyrics. Come on. So ChatGPT, you suck. 5th position, we have Djent, hated by old school metal fans. Too much focus on technical playing and not enough songwriting. Overuse of 8 strings guitars and chugs. It's even a genre, is a debate in itself. Now, I don't know too much about Djent. I'm not a fan of those down-tuned 8-string guitars, okay? I always say it sounds like someone is farting. Too much focus on a technical playing and not enough songwriting. If you ask me, I will say yes. I don't see the musical part in it. It's just something that I don't like. But hated? Honestly, I don't think so. Now, maybe I will say something stupid, but aren't Meshuggah like Djent? Didn't they invent literally Djent? And they're loved. For example, my drummers love it, and I know a lot of people love Meshuggah, so I don't think it's a hated genre, to be honest. I don't know, man. I think that ChatGPT with this last two, he just throw, you know, 2 genres because he didn't know what to say anymore. So ChatGPT, you fucking failed this one. With that said, guys, this is all for this video. Let me know what you think. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers!
Satan.